Hello, everybody, and welcome to FloTrack. I'm Livek Pone, joined with Ryan Fenton, and we have a very special guest joining us inside Flow Sports HQ, Trey Hardee.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I was just having flashbacks of like early FloTrack stuff. Like White Pearl kind of stuff.
White Pearl,
like,
major throwback.
Like, hey, we need some content. Trey, would you want to do something? I'm like, I've been waiting all summer for you to ask me to do something.
Well, we're so happy to have you back. I want to go over your resume, and then we're going to just dive into everything because we're literally just days away from the opening ceremonies of Paralympics. You're about to be getting on a plane very soon and out. So a little bit of background on Trey Hardee, Olympic silver medalist in 2012 at the London Games, two-time world outdoor champion, world indoor heptathlon silver medalist. You're also a four-time U.S. champ.
I forgot about indoors.
You're also the NCAA champ. You're 13th all-time on the scoring list with 8,790 points, which you did back in 2009. You were recently inducted into the Hall of Fame for Texas, 2017.
Yeah.
Ryan Fenton with the stats between 2006 and 2015, you were ranked top 3 in the world 7 times. I don't know if you knew that, but you also held the NCAA decathlon record for 11 years from 2006 to 2017, and then also the NCAA indoor heptathlon record for 4 years from 2006 to 2010.
We gave you everything.
We gave you everything.
That was
right there.
literally everything.
Yes.
And have appeared in like 30 FloTrack videos.
We did not have that stat. We actually could pull that pretty easy.
Yeah.
Next time.
There was some Flow Coach stuff in there that I'm a little embarrassed about now, but yeah, I'm in there quite a bit.
Olympic Games is coming up, right? You've had experience, not once, right? We talked about the silver medal, but that's one of those highs when you talk about Olympics. I'm kind of jumping right into highs and lows here, but you've experienced all sides of this, right? So you made the games in 08, you no-heighted. You made the games in 12, you medaled. You got injured before trials in 16 and didn't get to go. So it's like you've seen all sides of that process of the Olympic year. Like, describe to us what's it like for an athlete trying to get to the games, this pinnacle moment.
Man, I had the fortune of actually getting to go back to the games and commentate in 16, and then again in 21, and again this summer, like you said. And I've mentioned it this year on air. There's kind of 3 kinds of athletes. I hope I don't mess up my own words, but there's the ones that are just starting to realize their talent, and they went to the Olympic trials to just test the waters and see what this is all about, and see if, like, all right, do I think I could be good enough to do this? Is like my dream strong enough to do this? And then there's the athletes that are just a little bit beyond that knew if they went in there and like had a day, or if you're a multi-event had 2 days and just had the meat of their lives, hey, I could sneak onto this team, or I could get the Olympic standard. And then there's the professionals. There's like the ones that are going in there, and if I do what I do, I'm going to be an Olympian. All of those things in the last 2 categories are so much heavier than I think people realize. I think you go in with, oh, it's just another track meet, whatever. And then you get there and you're like, oh man, okay, yeah, this is a big deal. There's a lot of people here. Like, oh, look at all those cameras. And you realize, and you start getting the messages from people back home, like, we're cheering for it. Like, your elementary school teachers are all like, my class loves you so much. Look at the posters. You're like, stop it. Like, stop it. Look, let me just do my thing and stop telling me about all this stuff. And that's where you see athletes that show up and fold. Like I did it in 08. You see athletes where the moment is too big. And it's not like the moment's overpowering and shadowing over them. That just becomes this thing that like sneaks up on you. And then you also see the people that rise to the occasion, that rise up, like the Sydney McLaughlin-Lavronis, like the Ryan Krausers, like the ones that show up and no moment is too big, and they're out there kind of free and just letting their body do what they've trained it to do. And You can't duplicate any of that kind of stuff in training. You can't recreate any of that stuff with any domestic meet, any big meet, right? It's the biggest, grandest stage on the planet, and that currently exists.
I have a two-part question that kind of ties into the emotion that you were talking about. For you personally, when did it hit you, let's just talk back in 2008, when did it hit you that you were going to the Olympics for the very first time? Was it when you're waving the American flag at trials, or was it like you're on the plane heading there? Or was it when you were actually in the Olympic Village and you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening?
That's a good, I think a little bit at each moment, like a little bit every single time. The first moment was even before the 1500, the last event of the decathlon. Before that, I knew I'm top 3. Like pending pulling my hamstring in the middle of the 1500, which doesn't happen. That was like mini celebration. Like, I can't believe I just made the Olympic team. And me and my coach kind of had a mini celebration, high fives and hugs and stuff. And then he fired me up to go, run myself up from 3rd to 2nd. And I ran hard, but I didn't enjoy the thing, but I ran hard, but I had a good time. I waved to Jacob Hernandez in the crowd during the second lap. I was like, hey buddy, took it seriously, but I ran myself on to 2nd place, and then crossing the line was it's done, it's official. They hand you the little flag and you're like, what? What is happening? Is this real? This is real, right? I can't believe this. And then you get your kit, you get the uniform. They send that uniform to your house, and you open up that bag and you're like, first of all, no one else has it. Just us. It hasn't been distributed, the junior teams don't have it. It's all this is us. This is only us. And I think I slept in it maybe that night, So that's another moment that it just lands and it just hits. And then it can go one of those two ways. You show up and you're at the village and you're walking around just so proud to have that emblem and that flag on your chest and your back and wherever else they put that thing, and just walking around that's right, boys. The Australian team's walking by, the Thailand, whoever, the table tennis people, and you're just I wonder what they do. They don't know what I do, and the village is a pretty special place. It's pretty cool, and you're just surrounded by greatness, true greatness, right? And then showing up, actually getting to the track, in lane 6, U.S. 2nd place. It's got a personal best of 10, 20, whatever. Trey Hardee, the United States. It's not Trey Hardee of Nike, Trey Hardee of Texas, Trey Hardee of Alabama. It is the United States. And then you're here we go. And it hits you at multiple different stages.
So you described kind of that moment can kind of carry so much weight and be so big, right? So when you're finally in that stadium, it's kind of a reflection of what you've gone through and what you'd maybe recommend to athletes, right? You had that moment in 08 it sounds like it was almost too big, and you were in the hunt, right? I think you were 4th place at the time when you no-heighted. So you come back 4 years later and you medal. What did you learn, and what is your advice to athletes when they actually get to that moment to not let that moment become too big?
If there was a perfect answer, then everyone would get it, and it'd be no one would ever perform poorly, and it would never happen. But for myself, what I started to learn a little bit more of was how to find the balance between taking it seriously and also not taking it so serious. I didn't really smile at all in Beijing. Didn't enjoy my time. I was there to I'm gonna win a medal. I'm here to win a medal. I'm finally here. I'm gonna show the world what's up. Instead of oh man, isn't this cool? A couple weeks out, I chose not to go see the Great Wall because I was no, I gotta stay off my feet. I gotta chill out. 2 weeks before the thing, I learned how to just live a normal life and know that the work that I had done was enough, and nothing I was gonna do was gonna like take away from that. And so, yeah, I like went and did laundry like the day before the next World Championships in Berlin. I was sitting there and I was thirsty, and I was like, oh, there's a beer vending machine. I'm gonna have a beer. And I ended up having 2 beers. The night before, I had one of the best meets of my career and won a world championship, because I wasn't taking it so seriously. And I found myself over the next 2 days there smiling and enjoying the camaraderie and enjoying the scenery and being where I was, and how special just that presence was. And then I took that into the next season, and especially in 2012 in London, I just was really grateful for the experience that I had had, and like the road back and having the reconstructive surgery and just wasn't supposed to be there, and was just playing with house money. And I think that's kind of the mindset I took into everywhere, was just like, I'm so fortunate to be here. I can either look back on this like I do '08 without a lot of positive memories and good memories even off the track, or I can look back on it with just, oh man, remember when we did that? That was so fun. Like this, and this. Like I have memories from Moscow and from Beijing and London in 17 that like, those meets did not go well for me. But I look back on them with like incredible fondness for things I got to do with my family and friends and all that kind of stuff. So really way too long of an answer, but just relax and have fun. And it's so easy to say that. It's so easy to say that. But that was the key for me, and I had to fail and do it wrong a couple times to figure that out.
What were some of those favorite memories that you have outside of competition?
I don't know if I can share some of them. But just it's kind of you're with, no matter how relaxed and how much fun you try to have, it's still an intense environment. It's the real deal. It's big time, and these are the greatest athletes in the world. And so when you want to go out and have a good time, you go out and have a good time. You cut loose, you dance, like you just do. Like, I don't know, it's just this cathartic like release of energy, like it just is beautiful. And you get to see the world. I got to see Beijing, I got to see Moscow. Like, not many people can say they've seen one, if not both of those places. So it really was about just, it doesn't matter what you're doing, just get out of your hotel room,
Mm-hmm.